All right, well, welcome everyone. I'm so grateful for you joining today. We've got people on, and then we also are recording it. And I usually get a ton of people say, oh, darn, I missed it. Can you send me the recording? So we always record these so that we do have something to send you so that, if you're wanting the information. So I'm Jody Colgrove, and what I do is I help people get to the root cause of their health issues. And when we're able to discover what that root cause is, then you can start living in clarity because you know what direction to take. You know what's been making you not feel so good. You start getting energized because once you leave that off, your energy comes back. And so you're able to do more and be more. And then also you're living in peace because there's a sense of, oh, okay, I'm going in the right direction. I know what I need to make my body the best it can be. So all of those things are part of our quantum techniques modality that help people get their health and happiness back. So my mission is for you to have the freedom to choose your God-given way to take care of your health. And sometimes the key is having better sleep, enjoying better digestion, and feeling happy and joyful. And that's only the beginning because this is a mind, body, spiritual connection that we're creating. And as you live your life, when you have these things, mind, body, spirit, you're able to live the life that you deserve and that you desire. And you'll no longer feel that disconnection in life, like things are just not going the way you want them to go. So I want to start out with a story today. And I remember there was one Christmas when we first got married, me and my husband. And, we were a newly married couple and we wanted to celebrate with everybody. And so we're like, okay. So we had Christmas morning and then we had, lunch with my parents. Okay. Full on, great meal. Well, then we wanted to go down and be with my dad's parents. And so in Phoenix. So we went down there and then we had Christmas dinner with them, full on meal. Then we drove a little bit further to be with my husband's family, and they have Christmas kind of like the next day. And so at lunchtime there, we had a full-on family and all the fixings and all the food. And we kind of got to them, and we just were going from one thing to the next. And we kind of said, whoa, besides being massively stuffed, we don't want to do this again. So we had to start developing some boundaries about how do we want our Christmas to look like as a family. And what do we want it to involve? And what do we want it to be like? And so that's where we kind of came up with these kind of things that really helped us have a more balanced Christmas without the stress. And so it's important for you to think through kind of what those boundaries are in order to be able to have a good Christmas and holidays. And Thanksgiving is part of that too. So even though we're past that. All right, so the 10 daily habits that help promote this clarity, energy, and living in peace during the Christmas season. So the first thing that's so important that a lot of times we forget to talk about, because I kind of figure sometimes people are always doing this because it's something that is just part of my life and has been for many, many years, is to get exercise. And it's important to do at least an hour a day. And so that could be something that you just truly love. It could be walking out in nature. I put up here a picture of Christmas or snow at Christmas time because to me, I love walking in the snow and just hearing the crunch and the coolness that hits your face. And so all those things are just really part of exercising and doing something that you really enjoy. And if there's something that is not going quite well with your exercise routine, or you're just kind of getting burnt out, then you need to kind of find out what that is and change it. And so I, for years, have always lifted weights. I've enjoyed it and I had a great rhythm. And all of a sudden, when we went through the lockdown, the program that I was watching, no longer fit me as a person anymore. And so I stopped watching it. But I also then got rid of the weightlifting. And I'm like, wait a second, I really missed that. So I've had to create a new pattern of weightlifting that I really enjoy. So sometimes you just go through a transition period. And so being aware of why you're not exercising as much as you do and what you can do to make it better. So I'd love to, hear in the chat and or let me know by email at jody@quanttechniques.com to let me know like what you love as exercise. You know, what's your favorite exercise activity? And some people really enjoy yoga. I just desperately am trying to get yoga in the evenings. It's just one of those things that it just is a struggle for me because I do other things. The second thing to keep in mind is drinking water, because when we have the proper amount of water, then our bodies are able to use the energy we have. In other words, a lot of times with quantum techniques, we need to have enough water in our system so that the energy that we're doing on the body is able to move fluently. So I have down here at least 2 liters, which is equivalent to about 4+ cups. So that's 8, but I find that you need, more than that. And so this is kind of dorky, but I don't know if you can see it here. I'm trying to put it from my face, but I have like a, you put your water on it so it doesn't drip everywhere. And so I have like these little tags on the side that I move them to let me know how many glasses of water I have drank. So I have like a big water glass that I use, and that's 4 cups. And so I know that every time I drink 4 of those cups, I move the tag. So it helps me just keep track of, okay, yeah, I need to drink a little bit more today. I haven't had as much. And that's just my little way of finding. So find something that works for you. A glass that you can measure. It's always important, to drink out of more of a glass instead of plastic because of the BPA. But do your best on that. All right. The third thing is it's important to have some tea. Now this one I do, but not maybe as consistently. I personally am more of a hot chocolate, apple cider kind of girl. But I do like a certain kind of tea, which is licorice fruit tea. And so 3 cups is a lot. I mean, if I can get 1 in, I'm doing good. But I think it's the whole idea of having some tea that you can, or some kind of drink that you can sit down with, relax with. But it's important that you don't include it as part of your liquids, because your liquids need to be just pure water. And so it's like an addition to the liquids is to have the cup of tea. So if there's other teas that you really enjoy, I would love to know what those are. So again, you can leave it in the chat, or you can send me an email at jody@quanttechniques.com, because I'm always looking for new teas that would be very good to have. The next thing is to have different kinds of foods on your plate. So a lot of times, we get into a habit. I know I've had a couple of meals where I look at my plate and I'm like, ooh, everything's white. That's not really exciting. And so just be aware of wanting to have 4 different colors of food on your plate. And that makes mealtime just a little bit more interesting and happy. And so obviously there's, fruits and vegetables, all those help add to that colorful palette. I've been eating more beets lately. And so that obviously uses a lot of red. And a friend of mine said, make sure you eat the beet greens. And so I've been, it's like sauteing the beet greens with oil and salt. So there's just a lot of different ways to add vegetables into your diet. And if you have a specific vegetable that you'd like to know, obviously I'd like to know what it is. So you can send me a recipe. I would love that. Just different ways of eating different kinds of vegetables that really nurture our soul and have that different colored palette. The next one is meditation, and that kind of goes along with exercise, but sometimes we have a really hard time slowing the mind down and breathing. I have a dear friend that went through some health issues, and he recommended a book to me about breathe, and I found it profoundly helpful. I didn't agree with everything that the book said, but I really enjoyed his data on why we need to breathe and how to breathe. And so there's a couple exercises that I want to do with my husband through Christmas about sitting down, breathing as part of a meditation exercise. And you might find different things that are helpful for meditating. It could be just sitting down and coming up with things you're grateful for. This afternoon, I kind of sat down and watched the light filter through the fall leaves. And I was watching the birds, enjoy my bird feeders. and the dog was trying to hunt birds. She wasn't being very successful, but it was such a nice moment. And so sometimes even that is a meditating moment where you're just being grateful for the time. And so being aware how to put those into your day so that you have that meditation and quiet time during your day. Now, the next one is hard for me, even harder than meditation sometimes, and that is listening to music. That's suggested that it's really good to listen to at least 5 or 6 songs that every day, and it could be quiet songs, it could be inspirational songs, or it could be happy songs and dancing songs. But for some reason, I have a hard time getting music into my life. I tend to listen to things and love to learn so much that I'm always picking up something to listen to and to learn, even when I go in my car. So I've tried to make a practice of, hey, if I'm only going just a short way to drop something off, to just listen to music and kind of fill that space. A lot of times reading emails. I know I have to read a lot, and so I can't listen to something like a lecture or something like that. So I've turned on music to listen to as I read my emails, and it just kind of makes everything just a little bit better. So that's something I'm kind of working on, but trying to get in 6 songs a day is important. And so I'd like to know, if you have any ideas of how to add music to our lives. That's always a good one. The next one I really love, and this is making sure you have 7 minutes of laughter in your life. And this is something that I think I have really cultivated, both me and my husband. And we found a show that we like to watch in the evenings, and it's different. It's morphed through the years, and we kind of get through a whole series, and so then we don't have anything to watch, so we watch another one. But just a comedy show, half hour in the evenings, and it right before bed, and so it just kind of puts you into a happy mood as you go to get ready for sleep. But so adding a funny show, and that could be something like on TV, it could be a YouTube. I've found a couple of really funny comedians that I enjoy listening to. And a lot of times I do that at lunchtime as I'm making my lunch. And it really just kind of makes the food go down a little bit better because you're in a happy mood. All right. The next one is making sure you get 8 hours of really good sleep. And that can obviously be a little bit harder. Maybe in the winter time, it's a little easier because it gets darker longer. And so your body wants to sleep longer. But just being aware, I think, that if there's a time when you set your alarm for 5 and you're like, gosh, I just really want to sleep a little bit longer. Sometimes it's important to honor your body that way. And so it just makes it so that you're listening to your body and what it needs are. But trying to sleep 8 hours is really important. And so sometimes you have to cut off the evening a little bit sooner because you want to get up in the morning. And it's important not to have any distractions like in your bedroom. So whether that's watching TV as you're trying to go to sleep or getting tired, or having the phones near the bed, making sure you have darkness. Some people do wear a mask to try to help them with that darkness, but just making sure that you have a really good sanctuary for getting that 8 hours of sleep. All right, the next one is my favorite, but sometimes it's hard to get in, is to make sure you read 9 pages of a book. Now, I'm one of those people that's like, well, can we just make it 10? But usually I'm getting sometimes 0 in. So I think 9 kind of is a neat number to challenge you to try to get every day. And I tend to be one of those people that says, well, I need to read a chapter. Well, no, if you just read 9 pages, then it's like, hey, I can do that. So that's kind of helped me, and why that's kind of been an interesting issue of just having 9 pages, because it really has helped me be able to read a little bit more. So a lot of times after lunch, I'll try to just get in about 9 pages, something to read. So I feel like I've kind of got that part. Now, my issue is I have a lot of books I love to read. So I have like 12 books I have all open at the same time. So I'm like picking between different books of what I want to read. So I'm usually rotating them all. But I'd love to know what you're reading at the moment. So you're always welcome to send me an email on what you're reading and what you're finding to be very inspirational or very informative. I've read a ton of books over the last couple of years that have been very, very helpful in understanding what's going on in this time of our lives. All right. So the last one is to be grateful. And they say it's important to have at least 5 things a day that you're grateful for. And I find it's most better to do this. That's a horrible sentence. I find that this is better to do is first thing in the morning when you wake up, because it puts you in this whole gratitude. I just heard Dr. Amen say that if you wake up in the morning and say, let's see, this is going to be a great day. But that sets your whole internal psyche to say, okay, well, why is it going to be a great day? And you're always looking for it. I thought that was a really good phrase. So saying that and then coming up with 5 things that you're grateful for every morning is really helpful. And I like to do that on my morning walk in the mornings. And it can be simple things, you know, just, you know, the fresh air, you know, the beautiful sky, you know, the stars have been out lately. And so I'm just enjoying all the constellations, being able to see them this time of year because the air is very crystal clear. So those are the things that really, if you add, I mean, you're already doing a lot of these. And so you're just tweaking them enough to make them really resonate with you and to be able to have that sense of peace and have something to kind of fall back on when you're not feeling really good or you haven't set that boundary, to know how to like go, okay, how do I want to adjust my life so that I can have this be better? And it may be that you just work on a couple of these. You know, for me, the meditation and making sure I get the reading in. If I do those 2 things, I think that would really help me through the holidays. So there's a couple things that I think are very helpful along with these that are kind of specific for quantum techniques. And the one is the energy shield. And I've talked about that on several times, but I really like putting on an energy shield so that when you're with people, having to go to parties, whatever it is, you're not allowing your energy to seep out and not be available or taken by others, and you're not able to receive energies that you don't want. And so if you would like that video, let me know in the chat or by sending me an email at jody@quantumtechniques.com. And I can send you that energy shield video. And also there's a code for it too. There's also the trauma. In other words, during the holidays, we are going to have trauma. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be small, it could be little, it could be big things. But we do have a trauma code in quantum techniques that really helps people get through that time of if there's something that comes up. And it's a very simple code, and you can say it, you can read it, you can run your finger down it, but it helps release the trauma that you're dealing with. And so I'd love to send you that to help you have a tool that you can use, you know, kind of in your pocket or wherever in order to get through that trauma. The last one that I think is really helpful is about mindset. And it's a story that I heard by Guy Finley years ago that really resonated with me. And so I say it a lot to my clients when I work with them. And the story goes that there's this game warden in Africa. And so he's over this camp. And a lot of times in Africa, they have these camps where you can camp and then they take you on safari around and you get to see all the animals. Well, so he's in charge of that. And so he has a guest staying, and he noticed that one of the guests left kind of early, and he wasn't sure what he was doing, whether he was walking in the park. You know, it's not really what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go on a guided tour. And so he decided he wanted to kind of see where this guy was going. Well, the way that this particular camp was set up is that you had a big ridge on one side, and then you had the watering hole that all the animals would come to down below. So he went up on the ridge to kind of check out all the animals. Well, as he got up to the top of the ridge and he looked down at the watering hole, he saw this guest that was down walking towards the watering hole. And he's like, oh my gosh, you know, he's going to be eaten by an alligator. There's water buffalo around. There's, you know, crocodiles. This is not going to go well. And she's like, but how do I get this guy's attention, you know, to not be down there? And so it was too far away. He was trying to honk his horn, and he wasn't getting this guy's attention. And the guy kept walking towards this hole. So as he got closer, the animals started noticing, hey, we've got some dinner coming. So they started turning around, walking towards him. And so as the guy was watching this and really worried about this, he saw that the guy kind of lifted his hand and said something, and the animals turned around and left. And the guy goes, I have never seen anybody do something like this. I've got to know what this guy does, how he has the ability to tell these animals to leave him alone. So sure enough, he drove his Jeep down, came around down below where the watering hole is. And he said, Guy, I was really worried about you. You're getting close to this watering hole and you shouldn't be here. But then I saw you say something and all these animals left. What in the world did you say? And he said, oh, it's easy. I just said, thank you for coming. Now be on your way. And to me, that story really helps me when I have a reoccurring thought that I can't get out of my mind, or I play a scenario that I'm dealing with or have dealt with, and it's kind of like, oh, and this happened, and I should have said this, or I wonder why this keeps recurring, or I should be dealing with this in a different way. All those thoughts are just kind of that noise. Those are the animals that keep showing up, wanting to eat us away and eat away at our mindset and our security and our happiness. And so what I've learned is be aware of that, though they're showing up. Okay, so that's the first, the awareness of that. The second one is saying, okay, I need to acknowledge that they showed up, because I can't stop a thought from happening. So I'm acknowledging, thank you for coming, but then I'm asking them, please be on your way. And I've done this on several occasions where it really profoundly helped. And it takes a little bit of time. In other words, they're not going to go right away. Some, if you really are entrenched, that they may come back, but every time they come back, you say the same thing. And not only does it get them to stop showing up, but it also lessens the amount of energy that you're spending dealing with it, both physically and emotionally. So it helps both ways. So I just encourage you that if you have some situation that comes up during the holidays or going into 2022, that you are able to say, thank you for coming, but now be on your way. So as we close, I just want to say that I have the two things that if you are interested, I can send you by email. So you can send me an email at jody@quantumtechniques.com, and I can send you the energy shield video and the code. And I can also send you the trauma code. So let me know if those are two things that you would like that I can send you. So again, what I do at Quantum Techniques is I help you get clarity to be energized and to live in peace. Together, what we're doing is we're finding that root cause of your health issue. And I do that by doing muscle testing. And we find out if there's a toxin, like foods, smells, that may be impacting your health. And I help people with non-healing issues. We also identify like beliefs or emotions that may be blocking your happiness. So I would love the opportunity to work with you or someone you know that's suffering with not being able to find their health and happiness, especially during this time and into the next year. So I have a special offer for new clients to have 60 minutes of one-on-one consultation for $300. So the ways that you can connect with me is obviously sending me an email at jody@quantumtechniques.com. We have a great website that really explains more about quantum techniques. So that's quantumtechniques.com. I have a great YouTube channel that's Jody Colgrove at Quantum Techniques. And I discuss a lot of different health issues that we work with and help people kind of understand the root cause of what those issues are and how to clear those. I also have a Facebook page called Health and Happiness Through Muscle Testing, which I share a lot of information and videos on. I also have a great Facebook group called Health Puzzle Academy. And I share a lot of different videos in there, also masterminds, and getting that started and helping us have a dialogue on what's going on. So I'd love to open it up for questions. If you have questions, obviously you're welcome to send me if you're watching the replay, send me an email at jody@quantumtechniques.com. I can answer any questions you might have. So you're welcome to let me know if you have any questions that I can help answer. I'll give a little bit of time for that. So I'm just grateful that you guys have showed up today, and I'm grateful that you're listening to the replay. And I just pray that you have a wonderful holiday season. We've just had Thanksgiving, and now we're kind of moving into Christmas and the New Year. But I just pray that you are able to find a peace through the holidays and be able to really enjoy time with family and friends. I am not going to have a Zoom in December because this is really close to December, and I've got a lot of traveling I have to do between now and the first of the year. So I figured this would be a good way to kind of sum up the holidays together. So I do hope that you have a blessed 2022, and that I look forward to seeing you with new Zooms in January. And I just hope that you have a blessed holidays and a first part of the year. So thank you and have a wonderful evening.